Hi everyone, I'm Nicola from Elimee Designs and welcome to episode 6 of our vlog. Please excuse the croaky voice. I've had a few colds recently, unfortunately, and please excuse the, my husband's hoodie that I'm wearing because at this stage of my pregnancy, nothing else fits. Right, so I'll link down below to everywhere that you can find us on social media if you're interested, and where to get all of the information about the patterns that we've shown you and the yarns that we've used. But otherwise, I think let's just crack on. Let's see what we've managed in the last month and let me know what you've been up to over the last month too. I imagine the countdown to Christmas has got you all crocheting at a very rapid pace, trying to finish all of your presents too. Okay, so starting with our newest pattern release, the Caitlin Zigzag Cowl. Now, I have made a few of these, A, because I was having a play around with it before I put it into testing, but also because I figure why not give a few as gifts, because it's a nice, quick and easy pattern to make. So the first one I have, which is the largest one I made, is in the Citron colour from Stylecraft Special DK. And I decided after making this one, oh, excuse me, my cold's still got a bit of a cough as well, that it's a little bit looser from my neck than is preferred for me. Although you can obviously like fold it over so it's a little bit closer. I decided I wanted something a bit more close and snuggly because, as you must know by now, I hate being cold. So this one is going to go to one of my friends as a Christmas gift. The second one that I made that I can just about slip on myself is a bit too cozy, and that's because this is made for my 5-year-old. So she doesn't like hers to be too snuggly, and she chose this yarn herself from my stash. So you might recognise it as a leftover from the Caitlin Zigzag blanket that I made for Bump, the one with the nice stripes. So this is the Stylecraft Chunky in the colourway Plum, which I quite like, and she evidently liked it too. Now the one that I made, oh, excuse me, made for myself, and the one that I'm keeping, do you remember that gorgeous yarn that I showed you last time? So the Stylecraft Highland Heathers in the colour Thistle. I am a huge fan of purple, and this shade of purple was just, I couldn't not. So I have a lovely purple one, which is sort of an intermediate snugness to my neck, I should say, compared to the other two, with that obviously classic zigzag pattern from the Caitlin series, and it has already been worn a few times, which is why it's probably looking a little bit out of shape already, because I tend to, stupidly, I tend to put my hat on first and then my cowl, because baby brain is all I can blame it on. So I do sometimes have to stretch it a little bit to get it over my hat as well as my head. So, but I still love it and will be wearing it. And bonus points, I made a plain Twisted Trio ear warmer to go with it so that I can coordinate for once in my life. Normally I am terrible at matching and coordinating my outfit, as you can probably tell. Whenever I'm making things that require multiple colours, I always get my husband to pick or to double check my colour selection, just in case it looks absolutely awful. But this is where I really mess up my hair, but who cares? This just yeah, keeps me nice and warm, and I can't not match because it's the same yarn. So, you know, win-win as far as I'm concerned. Oh, excuse me. Can't seem to shake the cough that I've had with my most recent cold. And while I was making Twisted Trio ear warmers, I couldn't resist making a teeny tiny baby-sized one. I mean, isn't that just so cute? If I have time before Christmas, I'm going to make a few more for her. I'm going to put some of the motifs on, so not just making them plain. But as you know, I've been trying to use up this yarn. So this is the Chainnet yarn from Wilko's in the shade Purple Mix, even though it's clearly pink. That irritates me every time. But I've been trying to finish a few other projects first for Christmas, because who knows when this one's going to arrive. So that's why I've only made one teeny tiny little ear warmer so far. I think I started making it whilst I was listening to a presentation, so I needed something that was fairly mindless, and this was the perfect little project. So if I just move all of those out of the way, a few more finished objects. Yes, I'm on a roll with trying to finish Christmas gifts before Christmas. As we've discussed, Baby Bump could arrive any day, and I would rather have as much done as possible so that I feel less guilty. Excuse me. So first up are my Franken socks. So as you know, if you saw, oh gosh, I think episode 1, I accidentally, whilst making my husband socks last Christmas that was seriously overdue, ended up making 3 socks in order to give him 2 socks. Yeah, watch episode 1 if you want the whole story. But I ran out of yarn and it was discontinued, and so I have made a Franken sock. So the toe completely does not match the rest of the sock, but I don't care because these are for me. Nobody is going to see the toes, and so yeah, why not? So this was JC Brett from the Funny Feets collection, unfortunately in a colourway that's been discontinued. And this one was some of the, oh, I'm terrible at saying the names, excuse me when I butcher it, the Schackenmeyer Regia 4-ply that I had left over from another pair of socks. And hence it's a bit of a Franken sock because it really doesn't go, and I really, really don't care because it keeps my feet nice and warm. And yes, these two have already been worn. So, oh, excuse me. Next up are the fun socks. So just like my Franken socks, I literally only had the last kind of toe section left to do. And these are the ones for my best friend. Oh, don't you just love that colourway? I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. So this is made in the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply in the colour Rum Paradise, which when I saw it in the shop, I could not resist. And just like my Franken socks, these are made using the Crochet pattern socks. Pattern? No. Yarnspirations Crochet pattern socks. Pattern being P-A-T-O-N, not pattern. Their pattern from their website, which is completely free. So I finished the toe section, so she now has 2 socks that, to be fair, aren't too far off actually matching in terms of stripes, although that was completely unintentional. I'm more of a don't waste the yarn by matching up stripes, but I think they're very, very close. So that was a happy accident. And since the last episode, I can proudly say that I have managed to do the socks to match for her daughter as well. So these ones are made in the smallest size, although I did size up slightly on the hook. If I went with the smallest size as it was, that it was going to be an exact fit-ish, she says, with her not being able to try these on before Christmas. And she gave me the measurements back at the start of November. Obviously, little kids' feet grow fairly quickly. So I decided, instead of going to the next size up, which would have been absolutely enormous, to just size up the hook. I think I just went from a 3.25 to a 3.5. And it's given an extra sort of centimetre in the length of the foot, which between now and Christmas and how much she grows, hopefully will get her a little bit of wear out of them before they're too small. And again, not too far off in terms of the stripes matching. I mean, this one ends in blue and this one ends in green, but not too far off. And let's face it, it's such a pretty colour that who cares? And so that was in my Love Crafts whip bag that I got with my mystery pack of yarn. I've still got plenty of this left. So I did buy 2 balls. As you would have again heard in episode 1, I have issues with running out of yarn whilst making socks and don't want that to ever happen again. Apparently it's because I crochet my socks rather than knit my socks. Apparently if I knit them I'll use less yarn. But again, as I'm sure you know by now, I'm a very, very beginner knitter and so have not been brave enough to try socks yet. When I do, hopefully that'll be enough to make myself a pair of shorties. I'd quite like to do that. So next on my list. So one of the things that I wanted to do by learning to knit was to knit a hat for Baby Bump before they arrive. So my first hat, which was not destined for Baby Bump at all, turned out a right pig's ear, as you'll know if you saw a few episodes back. My second attempt, so the elf hat, because, you know, Christmas baby, why not play on the Christmas angle, turned out far too small. I did buy myself another set of needles because I'm using the interchangeable Knit Pro Symphony set. So I did buy a size bigger in order to remake the hat in a bigger size in the hopes that it would fit. However, I haven't had time because I've been working on the cardigan, which I'll show you in a little while. So I decided, you know what, we're getting seriously close to my due date. I don't want to run out of time for them to have a hat that I've made. With my eldest, I hadn't learnt to craft yet, so she got one of the hats from the hospital, which were absolutely fabulous. I mean, they were donated by lovely people who take the time to craft for the hospital, and I still have it, but, you know, I wasn't into crafting then, so she had no hope of a hat by me. She did later get a blanket. Middle child, I made 3 hats, none of which were the right size. So I decided to try and hedge my bets with this one. And yes, I'm using up some of the Starcraft Highland Heathers thistle yarn that I had left over, because I managed to get the cowl and the earworm out of just one ball, which absolutely amazed me. So I decided to use this one to make a ribbed hat. So I'm going for something really simple because I want it to be nice and stretchy. That way, fingers crossed, it will fit them no matter how big or small they are. And yes, I'm seriously hoping that they're not a 10-pound baby. There was a whole pound between baby 1 and baby 2. So I'm hoping it's not another whole pound between baby 2 and baby 3. I don't relish the idea of delivering a 10-pound baby. So I've just finished doing the ribbed section. And I got the, let me just double check what it was called. I got the measurements from a YouTube video by Craft and Crochet. So it was not the best video in terms of what I would recommend in terms of if you actually want to make one and you're a fairly beginner crocheter, because she waffles an awful lot. I mean, it doesn't take 30 minutes to show somebody how to make a ribbed beanie for a baby. But she was the first video that I came across where they were using DK yarn rather than anything heavier. So I just used it for the measurements. So this is the finished ribbed section in that lovely purple colour that I love. Okay, sorry, I can't stop gushing over the purple. So I literally just need to slip stitch it together into a tube, do up the top, make a pom-pom, and it's finished. And that's not taking me very long at all because it's such a simple and quick and easy pattern. But I figured this way I was guaranteed, she says, do not arrive today, Bump, to have a hat before Bump arrives. Okay, so the other thing that I mentioned as to why I wasn't re-knitting a hat is I'm still working on the cardigan. Unfortunately, it got put on pause whilst I did a few other projects, so it's not as far along as I would like, but I have made progress. So this is the pattern by Mercia. Let me just double check the leaflet number because it was a printed pattern that somebody gave to me. And where is it? So it's the plain baby v-neck cardigan from leaflet MW021. Apologies, I don't have the actual bit of paper to hand. It's been very crumpled in my knitting whip bag, so excuse me. But I now have a whole finished back panel. So I'm making the 3rd size in the hopes that it will actually fit, or at least that it will be bigger rather than too small. I have got the left front panel. I'm not sure what you think of my raglan shaping because it's the first time I've ever done raglan shaping, what with it being the 3rd thing I've ever knitted. And I'm now making the right front panel. And I've just got as far as starting the raglan decreases. So this is just the nice kind of straightforward stockinette stitch section. And I don't think my stitches are too bad, as in, you know, in terms of evenness, considering that it's only my 3rd ever project. I assume it's because I've been crocheting for a good number of years and therefore my tension's not horrific, that it's not turning out too bad. And as I mentioned, these are my Knit Pro Symphony interchangeable needles. I've also got hooks that can be used on these as well for when I'm doing my Tunisian crochet. But this, excuse all of the noises coming from my Alexa, she won't stop beeping at me. This is made in the JC Brett Baby Shimmer DK that I had in my stash in the colour BS9. Yes, we know how I feel about colours that are numbers and letters and not fun words, but we shall forgive them because it's just pretty and slightly sparkly, and hopefully will look good on Baby Bump when they arrive, if, she says, if I manage to finish it in time. So as soon as I finish the hat, this is one of my top priority projects. Unfortunately, it's not the top priority one. The hat is number one at the moment, so that will be finished today because there's not much left to do. And it's a very simple pattern. Then there is a sample that I'm showing you in a minute that I'm making for my first ever blog hop in January that needs to be finished by the end of the week. So that's probably number 2. And then I've got some sewing that's probably number 3. But again, you'll see that this is maybe number 4 on my priority list. Yeah, bad mummy. Okay, so the next thing is the one that I'm remaking for the blog hop. So this is the Aphrodite cushion cover, which was the original, oh, yarn's going everywhere, original Aphrodite pattern. Excuse me, I've had it squished up in that bag, so it's a bit wrinkled. And I've paused it at this stage because I need to get a whip photo before I finish it as part of the blog hop. They've asked for some whip photos, and I stupidly didn't take any whip photos when I made the one in duck egg blue. So I decided to remake it in pink for my daughter for Christmas. So this is the first part of the front panel. As you can see, I'm just starting to get to the bottom of the swirly bits of the heart. And this is made in Stylecraft Special Aran in Pale Rose. So she chose the colour not knowing what she was choosing it for, and cream. And I've already, trying to get a bit ahead of the game because it's due on Friday, done one of the back panels as well. So this is the one that the buttons are going to be sewn onto, so it's just plain. And then, excuse me, I've started the second panel but ran out of that ball of yarn. So needs to finish making the front panel so that I can steal one of those balls in order to finish it. I didn't want to just chop it off and finish this and then end up with not enough for not enough for the front, because I obviously calculated the yardage from the original pattern. So I know I have enough yarn, but I didn't want to have loads of extra joins because obviously all of the balls at the moment that are in use, the bigger ones that I need to finish this. So I didn't want to have to keep cutting and reattaching, and because obviously you have to be careful to hide your knots. And all of the smaller ones for when I get to the more colour changes are already a lot smaller. So I didn't want to have to wind loads of new balls. I don't know, maybe I'm just being a fusspot, but I just want it to look as neat as possible for the photos, because I want it to look nice for my daughter. And she says, trying to stuff all of this back in here. There we go. Obviously I want the blog hop to be a success. So, excuse me. You will hear more about the blog hop at the start of January because it's running for, oh, excuse me, not quite the whole month of January. But during the blog hop, there will be a 24-hour window, so my day of the blog hop, where you can get that pattern for free. So keep your eyes peeled. It'll only be for 24 hours. Okay. Next on my whip list, again, I was trying to be good with the Christmas presents, are the Mrs. Murdoch's mittens. And as you will know from last time, I think I had done this much. So I had done the sort of hand section. I have now added the thumb, not woven in my ends yet. And then decided, you know what, just start on the second one. Because again, I was in a talk. Doing the ribbing section is really mindless. So I started the second one. And as you will see, I've just got as far as needing to do the decreases for the top of the mitten. And the thumb hole hasn't been started on yet. However, stupidly, I wasn't paying enough attention because I was in the middle of a talk, as I said, when I started it. And I have made 2 different sizes. So this is the smallest size. So this is the toddler size. And this is the preschool size. So even when I finish it, they're not going to match. And I'm going to end up making 4 mittens to make 2 mittens for my nephew. And then we'll have to find somebody to gift the smaller size to, because I'm baby brained. I'm just blaming all of my errors at the moment on being baby brained. But you know, somebody will get a nice set of mittens that they weren't expecting out of it. And this is being made again from stash from the Stylecraft Special Aran in lipstick. So this was left over from making my middle child a Christmas stocking last year. Because, you know, Christmas, red, why not? Okay, so the next bit is a little bit of sewing. So feel free to skip ahead to the fun stuff that I got this month if you're not into sewing. So I think it was in episode 1 when I was, oh gosh, much earlier in this pregnancy, that I was bemoaning the lack of underwear that fits nicely in pregnancy. So I decided to make some of my own, because all of the kind of handmade underwear that I have done up to this point has been really super comfortable. My go-to pattern is usually the Waves and Wild Wonder undies, which is what I've gone for this time. Although I have made, I can't remember the name of the pattern, but I have made the underwear from Ellie and Mac, which is also quite comfortable. And I do have some other ones to try, so we'll see if this stays my favourite over time. So I think when I showed you last time, I had cut out all of the fabric and hadn't done any sewing whatsoever. Now, they're not finished yet, but I managed to get one evening this week where I managed to make a bit of progress. So they've all got the fronts attached to the backs and the gusset inserted, which has got pattern on both sides. And as you'll remember, these are my scrappy pants. So these are made completely from stash and as much as possible from my scraps bin. So all of the solid colours that you'll see are from Harvey Jacobs Fabrics. The leopard print on this one, I believe, is by Little Legs, but I will double check before I pop it into the show notes. And it was left over from making my husband a pair of boxes, which again are cut out and not assembled yet. Hopefully I can maybe do that for Christmas. The second pair, oh, just still a bit inside out. Let me just get those the right way. Sorry, all of the clips are just holding the layers of the gusset together for when I put the bands on. Is made from this lovely rainbow fabric. And, oh gosh, I got this in a bundle and I can't remember which company it was from. Again, I will make sure to put the right information in the show notes. The third pair, which has got a little bit further, I've started, look, this one's got all 3 bands pinned on or clipped on, ready to go. And this blue flower fabric I got in a mystery bundle from Little Darling Fabrics, which unfortunately are no longer trading. And then the last ones, I think, yeah, so these are the ones that went a bit silly. So again, they're made using the rainbow fabric that I got in my mystery bundle. And the inside of the gusset, because I didn't quite have enough in my scraps bin, is sharks. So again, that's from another mystery bundle. That was from Harvey Jacobs Fabrics, I believe. And out of the meter that I got sent, I managed to make some lightning leggings, which are again Waves and Wild, for my eldest and her best friend for one of the birthdays. I think it was his birthday one year, maybe when they turned 4. And a pair of matching pants for him. And I'm using one of the very small scraps to do the lining of the gusset for myself, because there wasn't quite enough rainbows. And I've obviously got all the bands left that need clipping on. But hopefully they will fit this late in the pregnancy and be as comfortable as they were at the start of the pregnancy, in terms of the ones I already had made. So the ones that I already had were quite high-waisted, just for comfort and not giving myself kind of pulley-in muffin tops. And they, oh yeah, amazingly comfortable. These ones to go under the bump are the low-rise version, and I'm just praying that they still fit this far into the pregnancy and I don't need to size up, because let's face it, that's not going to happen at this point. So wish me luck. So the last section is all of the fun things that I have got in the last month since we recorded. So bear with me 1 second while I pull them all a bit closer. Okay, so quite a while ago, I decided that I wanted to try and make my husband another pair of socks for Christmas. And I asked my girls to help me pick out online, excuse me, which yarn to make them from. And then it was out of stock absolutely everywhere. So I went to my local yarn shop, which is, well, one of my local yarn shops, which is Wool & Crafts in Burbage. And they said, yeah, we can get hold of it for you. We'll just order it in. And it arrived, and I have not yet started crocheting the socks because I'm trying to finish everything else. But I figured I'd show you the yarn that my daughter's picked. So this is the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. So their signature 4-ply again. And this slightly sparkly blue, which I like, which is called Silent Night. So fingers crossed I get a hope to even open this and start crocheting before Christmas hits. Fingers crossed. I bought two balls because of my experience with using the JC Brett yarn. I assume it's going to take more than one ball for him, but at least I now have all of his measurements, so it should be a fairly quick crochet once I get that far. Next up are some late birthday presents. So it was my birthday, I think just before I recorded the last episode, but these two people who gifted to me very, very kindly were both on holiday in different countries, and so came back with some presents. So the first lot is a load of sock yarn that my mother got while she was in Germany. So most of it, not all of it, is the Schackenmeyer Regia 4-ply. And I think 3 of them are from the Season colour range. And yeah, I don't read German or speak German, so hopefully I don't completely mess this up. But I believe that the first bit on here is the colourway. So this is colourway 09404, and this was going to be my backup yarn for my husband's socks if the other one hadn't arrived in time, because I think he'd quite like all of the reds and greys together. Then from the same range, we also have colourway 09406. Yes, what fabulous names not that they give these yarns. And I'm not quite sure who I'm going to use this one for yet. But again, it's kind of nice bluey green tones. The next one, which is totally going to be for me or my kids, is this one. I mean, it's got pinks, it's got greens, it's got oranges, it's got yellows, it's got a bit of everything. And that's colourway 09403. Come on, please. All these yarn companies, give us better names. We like the fun names. And then same company, but from their crazy neon colour collection. This is in shade 07141. But again, I really, really like this one. I think it's the combination of the greens and blues with that bit of pink. And obviously there's a bit of yellow as well. But so again, I think this will either be for me or my kids because it's just so darn cute. Though I don't think I'm going to have time to make another pair of socks for myself or kids before Christmas. And the last ball she got was from another company even, that I hadn't heard of before. I assume that it's a German company given the name and the fact that, again, the whole ball band is in German. But here you go. So this is, oh gosh, I'm going to completely balls this. Schoeller and Stahl in the Fortissima range. And this is in colourway 0433. So again, I thought this one looked a little bit more masculine in terms of the colours. So we shall see who's lucky enough to get a pair of socks in this one. I've not used this brand before, so hopefully it's a good sock yarn in terms of not piling or pilling too much, and being comfortable and soft. And then the last bit I got, oh, these are so cute. So these are from my sister-in-law, Alice. I gave her some very vague directions on what kind of things I would like. And let me get it out of the little baggie that it came in. So, oops. For starters, this company gets a bonus points from me because they gave me a bonus stitch marker, which is, oh, if I can get it to show you the right way around, which is a little daisy, which is adorable. But the ones that she actually ordered, get them out of the little bag. Let's see if I can hold these in a way that you can actually see some of them. Is a group of little foxes. So these are, because I asked for either cute stitch markers or progress keepers, and they are just, oh, adorable. So I will start putting these on my projects. You might start seeing them on my whips. And oh, if I could hold it like that, is that better to see? There you go. And these are from the company Duck and Rabbit. So I do like the fact that she's decided to support a small business as well, because we small businesses need all of the help that we can get. But yeah, those are adorable. My pretty much my only guidance to her was, where's that little bag gone? There it is. Was to avoid Christmas ones, because that's what my daughter's got me for my birthday, as I showed you last time. So I am more than happy with these, and they will get put to good use very, very soon. So the only other thing I have left to mention is that our festive Higgy Cow ends tomorrow, which means that our giveaway winners will be drawn tomorrow. So given that I've only just recorded this on the Monday and the giveaway will be drawn on the Tuesday, instead of making you wait a whole month until the next episode, which may or may not be on time given that Bump will have arrived by then, she has no choice. She will get forced out by the doctors, but she's not out before then. So I'm going to announce it on social media first, and hopefully the winners will reach out to me with their details before the next episode. But if not, I will repeat the winners in the episode in order to encourage them to step forward. So if you are crocheting your festive Higgy blanket, regardless of whether or not you are finished, post it in the progress thread today and you will be in the draw for tomorrow. And for each progress photo that you have entered, so you can have up to 6 entries on Facebook and 6 entries on Instagram, you will be in the draw. And I seriously hope that somebody lovely wins it, because yes, I'm giving away some free patterns, well, a voucher towards patterns that you can pick whichever ones you want, but those really cute stitch markers that I showed you last time, those Christmas themed ones, I would really, really like to get out, fingers crossed, to arrive in time for you to have them for Christmas. But yeah, I like giving things away. So let's see which giveaway comes next. I know I have at least one planned for early next year, but we shall see what happens with the other patterns that I have in progress, because, you know, with a baby Bump arriving any day, you have no idea where things are going to lead and what is actually going to be possible. I think it's going to depend entirely in how much she sleeps. But until next time, happy crocheting, have a lovely Christmas and New Year, and hopefully baby will be good and will allow me a little bit of crochet and general crafting time before the next vlog, so that I actually have something to show you. So yeah, until then, bye bye.